Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Living Life with James. Today, I am honored and excited to have Lisa Rotellini-Coltvet here. Lisa has worked at Mayo Hospital for the last 16 years. She works in interventional radiology. She also is in regenerative biotherapeutics and surgery. Lisa is originally from Wyoming, but she now makes Arizona home. She has two amazing children. She is a proud mom to 11 and a 13-year-old. Lisa has been married for 26 years. And two fun facts about Lisa: she has done the Boston Marathon 3 times, and she's met Prince Charles, now King Charles, when she was 18 years old. I love these little facts. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I know I always seem to be at the right place at the right time. I've got a knack for that.
I mean, who gets to say these things? You're already, this is amazing stuff.
And you know what's so funny about that is that not only did that happen, now I was did a year abroad. So this was in 1990-ish. And
Yeah.
so there's no cell phones at that time. So I had to get my photo taken with him with the royal press, go pick up that photo. And by the time I got home to my host family, my host father said, "Hey, did you have a great day today, love?" And I said, "Yes, you're never going to believe it." He goes, "I bet you I can. I'm watching the BBC and I saw you met Prince Charles today."
No.
Like, yes.
What do they say in today's world? Show me the receipts. I need proof. You have it. You're like, I was awesome. On TV. I was on the news. I got clips. I got everything.
Well, and here's another little inside scoop on that is that there's a really neat little why we connected and we talked for forever is because the Queen has a polo ranch right outside my hometown in Wyoming. So the Queen and Prince Charles and all of them used to come to Wyoming every year for their polo. And matter of fact, we had to extend our runway in our hometown so that her plane could land. So he's very well versed for where I'm from. So it was like just this absolute connection. So
connection, full circle, come right, and you were a part of all of it.
Yep. Yes.
Sprinkled with a little magic.
There you go. I'll take it.
Lisa, I'm excited because I would love for you to be able to share your story. And the reason why I say excited is because I feel like there are so many people, I was going to say women, but really people that need to hear your story. And knowing who you are, knowing, as I describe you, as this person of love and light.
Thank you.
I think it's so important for people to be able to hear kind of what you've been through, your story. So if you please would just share a little bit about yourself, share a little bit about your story. We'll start there. I'm leaving it very general and whatever you're comfortable with sharing.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I hope that somewhere, somehow, this touches them, because I believe things happen to us for a reason and that we take these experiences and we share them so that others can benefit from things that we did or did not do. But ultimately, on April 5th, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was something that I wasn't ready or anticipated because 10 months prior, my imaging was completely clean. I just by happenstance happened to get an override on my my imaging to get it done early to kind of keep everything in alignment. And there it was. Fortunately, my incredible team at Mayo Clinic called me immediately, and within a week, I really had a diagnosis. And from that point, I've just kind of taken it on. It's been a situation where, I'm fortunate in the sense that sometimes these diagnoses come and people have to wait months, right, for the care that they need or to make those decisions. For me, I was blessed in the sense that it was so clear to me the plan that we needed to do, and I had the support of my team at Mayo to say, "Yes, you are on target and let's make that happen." So while I will take some credit, it was really a great deal from my Mayo Clinic team, and I am forever indebted to them. But ultimately, after being diagnosed in April,
Lisa, I'm just going to insert just so the viewers can hear. You were diagnosed with.
Okay. Invasive ductal carcinoma of the left breast on April 29th or April 5th. And because of that, and because of my exposure, and because of the journey process, I had a couple of different options for treatment. One would be to do a lumpectomy, one would be with radiation and other things. The other would be to do a bilateral mastectomy without reconstruction. And I chose to go forward with a bilateral mastectomy, and that happened on April 29th with a sentinel lymph node biopsy. Fortunately, all the nodes were negative and the margins are clear, but when pathology came back, I had precancer on the right, which we didn't know about, and some precancer on the left with the invasive ductal. So I feel as though I personally made a good decision in that. Um, the other component is that is reconstruction. That's a journey that someone needs. It's an individual decision and how they choose to do that. You and I have had conversations about it, and for me, it was a situation where I had to take not just myself, but those around me into consideration for the next decision. And I'd like to talk about it a little bit later, but just dealing with my children at such a ripe age of being in their preteens and teens. And I have one daughter that's a teenager. So thinking about her, I decided that we needed to make this decision to do reconstruction, which I did on the 29th.
So I just want to back up because you have been in the field for so long. You are so smart, and I'm hearing lots of we're throwing out a lot of medical terms, but I'm
Okay.
going to just simplify it and break it down. So you made the decision to have both breasts removed.
Yes.
This was in April, right?
Yes.
I know
Yes.
we're throwing around, and I'm sure many people get some of these terms and some people may not. So at that point in April, you said, I'm going to make this decision. Lisa, what was going through your brain when all of this was happening, when you said, I'm making this decision?
You know, uh, the biggest part of that, I think, were my children. Initially, when that decision had come, I initially told my husband, I just want to take both my breasts off. We'll just move on. Let's just be done with it. And he said, sleep on it. Give
Mhm.
yourself overnight just to think about it. And looking back, I wanted to have a plan for my children that they felt that they knew that mom would come out okay.
Mhm.
The thing with the children, I wanted to make that decision before I even told them about my diagnosis. And I think that's something that's probably one of the biggest life lessons that I've had was, you know, s- first of all, I wish no parent to ever go through that situation. I wish no child to have to go through that situation first and foremost. But I wanted to reassure them and make them feel safe with the decisions that I had made with my healthcare. So in deciding to do that, to removing both the breasts and then reconstructing, I dreamed of those days of walking my daughter down the aisle, and I wanted to
Mhm.
be beautiful for her. But I
Mhm.
also wanted to make sure this journey that we took as a family, that we just keep moving forward. I didn't want to have to go backwards. I just wanted to look at this in the rearview mirror and not leave anything out on the table. And so for me, the decision to remove both breasts and to do reconstruction seemed so appropriate. And
Mhm.
I'm still grateful that I made that choice today.
Well, and Lisa, what I'm hearing is this kind of warrior mentality. You set your mind early on from the initial diagnosis to how you're going to handle this. And although I'm sure many emotions and ups and downs, you had this kind of plan of attack. You know,
Yes.
I say warrior because I hear and I have seen your frame of mind. And one of the things that I reference is this Facebook post that you put up. Do you remember the Facebook post?
I did. I mean, the minute that I found out I had cancer, I literally looked at my physician and I said, "You realize this has nothing on me, right? I
Mhm.
will give it this moment, this amount of time, but from now on, we figure out a way that it no longer has a vacancy in this house. Like, we're
Mm.
moving on. So, um, and the doctor looked right back at me, who I absolutely adore, and he's like, I know it doesn't have a chance on you." And it was just at that moment, I chose to make it something that defines me, or I chose to make it something that helped refine me to being a better person. And that's what I chose to do. I wanted to take this diagnosis for its pros and cons and make the best of it that I could. Now, I say that like I did that, but I also had incredible support of my family, my friends, my spiritual background, my gym community, my work community. I mean, I was surrounded by so much love, James. I It was hard not to just, you know, go with all of them. It was literally as though angels had kind of picked me up and like, "We got this. Girl,
Wow.
you are not alone." And I really felt that. I had such peace with every part of my treatment plan. I really did. I
So,
really did.
yeah, I'm hearing you say, in order to get through this journey, no matter what that journey may be, when you're dealing with matters of health or anything for that matter, you need to have community. You need to have a sense of support, be it friends, family, the gym community,
Yes.
your doctors, nurses. Everyone needs to come together, and that was what kind of pushed and helped guide you through. A part of what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my faith, I there were times where I would have periods of anxiety that would kind of come on. And for me, it was praying to the Virgin Mary.
Mm,
It just worked for me. I had a worry cross that I had in my hand. And then after I just took a few moments and then I really looked at, it could always be worse. Get it together. You got
mm,
this. You've got a tribe
mm.
behind you. You are so blessed on so many different levels. Let's do this, girl. And you've got two children that are looking at you and how you handle this situation, right? There's a lot of learning to happen there. I have a husband that's supporting me, but I need to support him back by staying strong. I
Mhm.
have family members who are very concerned. I would try to stay strong for them as well because if I crumbled, they crumbled. It was, but we all had each other. And at the same time, I don't want to say that there weren't moments that I wanted to break down and cry, and I did do that, but it it was just such a I got you, you got me. I think
Mhm.
probably one of the best things that one of my friends told me is like, you got this, we got you.
I love that.
And I took that card out and I put it up. I'm like, all right, I'm not alone.
Say that again, Lisa.
You've got that. We've got you.
Wow. So powerful. Just that one line, that one message.
You've got it, and we've got you. And I really did reflect on that so many times. It was, yeah, I still have it. I still have it.
I go back to, we were talking about community, and a part of community for some could be faith, religion, spirituality, believing in a higher power, whomever that may be for that person. And
Correct.
that's so important. And that kind of goes hand in hand with everything I hear you saying, mindset. Mindset is important. It's crucial as we go
It
through these
is.
moments.
It sure is. And I've seen that so many times in my position, unfortunately or fortunately. I've had a lot of training watching people go through these chronic conditions or acute tragic illnesses. Unfortunately or fortunately, it's helped mold me. And I'm grateful for those opportunities. And I've seen the difference of a positive outlook on
Mm,
prognosis. I've seen it many times over. I mean, not that I'm the token of positivity, but um, honestly, it's just been 4 months ago that I've had this major surgery. I've been on tamoxifen. I'm, getting ready for another round of surgeries. And people come up to me, and the greatest compliment I've had is said, when I look at you, it looks like nothing's happened.
mm,
And to me, that means good. I still have my resiliency. I still have my positivity. I'm still enjoying life. I'm still enjoying the people around me. I haven't changed. And I think for me, that's a good thing.
That's
Um,
your journey. That's how you want this to look. And that's
yes,
what feels good to you. And that's what has pushed you along,
yes,
guided you, supported you along.
yes. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't, for me, that couldn't be a better compliment. I love that if anybody on the street saw me, they didn't know that I'm the struggle that I'm on. That doesn't mean that I'm not sensitive to people going through that journey or handling it differently. Everybody handles it differently, and I appreciate that. But for me, I love that someone could walk by me and not have any idea what I've just been through in the last 4 months.
You know, I hear, as you say that, I hear all different viewpoints. I hear so many different stories, and I can see the differences for people that say, this is who I am. This is my identity. This is a part of my world. And how do I want to move through this, good
Mhm.
or bad?
Mhm.
And I hear how you're saying, look, this is how I want to be seen. This is how I want to feel. And I think that's a part of what's kind of helped move you along through all of this and get through. I mean, what we didn't say, Lisa, you went through this whirlwind all within, we're talking 4 months.
I know. I It's so funny because, I it seems like a decade ago, honestly, just because I've just tried to engage in baby steps, like getting back to running. That's a big love of mine, like trying to get back to that because I'm dealing with a new body, right? No matter
Mm,
what, everything that's happened to me, my body's been altered forever. It's a different looking Lisa. And that did come with a little bit of difficulty for me, and I still struggle with that a little bit. It's just not how I was I wasn't born that way, and so I have to change with that as well. But finding the little joys every day, of okay, I got to do double unders in CrossFit today. I got to do a rope climb. Ooh, I got to go take care of a patient who was really sick today. Okay, good. I got to go to Nora's volleyball game today. Awesome. All those little micro like high fives that you give to yourself, like I'm getting there. I'm acclimating back to normal. I'm acclimating back to normal. Um, for me is what I needed.
and what I'm hearing you say is, I'm trying to show up as best as I can at times, more than just showing up. You're living your life to the fullest as best as you can. I'm hearing from, as you're saying, CrossFit through all of this, being present emotionally, mentally, physically for your children. And then also saying, I have a career and I'm trying my best to be there and be present and be in the moment and be mindful through all of these things.
Well, because it's such a blessing, right, James? I mean, I've been afforded so much opportunity with this illness to continue to carry on, and I need to do that and honor those people who can't. I've been given a second chance, so I need to take it and seize the moment. And sitting at home and literally staring cancer in the eyes and looking at your children across from the dinner table and realizing how fragile life is and
Mm,
how quickly in just one phone call from a physician can tell you you have cancer that could potentially kill you, it gives pause, and it should give pause. But then at the same token, I gave pause. I gave cancer that one moment to
mm.
to 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 give to help me like get grounded. But then after that, it got no more time. It's like, all right, you've spent your minute. It's time to go.
Lisa, you
Um,
are an inspiration. I
oh,
mean, I'm serious. Just listening to your words, something that really stood out to me that I see as a part of almost this mindset, the psychology of how I'm going to handle this. You said, not just for me, but for maybe the people that did not make it through this, the people that are
yep,
not with us.
yep. Or that are in the struggle now, and their outcomes, what their prognosis is different. And it's not even just cancer. It could be a number of different things. It could be addiction. It could be mental health. It could be,
Mm.
right. It's not just about that. Um,
Of all of it, you are an amazing role model. You're saying, I'm doing this for me, but there's something about this that's motivating me to say, I'm doing it for others. I'm doing it for the journey. I'm doing it to show and to show up. to other
Yes.
people that may not have the strength.
Yep. Or get the opportunity to get the care I got, to get the support that I have, to have those foundations, which, maybe it's the Wyoming in me. I don't know, but I I've been afforded so much opportunity and to let that go by the wayside and not see all the greatness around me is for me, I, I would have failed in my eyes. And my journey's not over yet. I'm still going. This is I've got a 5-year journey ahead. I There was a beautiful gift that I received from one of my friends, and it's called a 5-year orchid. It's a terrarium of orchids, and it lasts for 5 years. So at the time of diagnosis, they gave it to me. That should last until I can declare myself in remission and cancer free in 5 years. And I look at that and I see the flowers and all the different orchids, their different colors, shapes, everything. And it's just like, all right.
Having
w-
that visual is a
Yes,
reminder.
absolutely. It sits right there. The whole family knows what it's for, why it's there. And when I'm having kind of a bad day or a bad moment, there it is. Like, all right.
You just brought up a really good point. Clearly there's tons of tools and strategies to help us go through this process. Community, faith, these are just a few. There's something about visuals that you just reminded me of, whether it's flowers, right? These orchids, or our children, or something that you may have posted on the wall or in the car, having something to give us that reminder of what
Yes.
we're doing, who we're doing it for, the reasons we're battling and fighting through this process.
In different locations, right? So that card is in a different location than what I have here at work. I have a cross stitch that one of the employees made for me that hangs on my wall here. They're at different locations. I have something in my bedroom right next to my nightstand, something in the middle of the kitchen. So they're everywhere, right? And it's because you never know when you might need just a little reassurance and a little,
It could
you
be that
know,
moment at night before
yep,
bed, right? It could be hopping
yep.
in the car. And Lisa, what during those moments, what do these visuals do or say to you?
So for me is I'm a pretty high energy person, and usually if things are going to upset me, I might get some anxiety and just kind of that panicness, and those just calm me. And then it
Mm,
makes me take a pause and say, "W- You've got this, we've got this. It could always be worse. We're all in
remind
this."
We're all
So
reminders, reflections. These are great reflections just to sit with. And as you said, they bring you to the basic of stop, pause, take a
yeah,
deep breath,
yeah,
and then you remind yourself of
yeah.
these
Because I
mantras.
Yeah, because I think when we start worrying so much or we start worrying about things that we can't control or because really this is something I can't control, which those are indeed things for me to remind myself that there's I believe there's very little we can control. And the few things that we can, like surrounding ourselves with good people, putting ourselves in good communities, taking the best care of ourselves as we can, mentally, physically, surrounding ourselves with positive energy. Those are all things we can do. But at the end of the day, there's also things we can't control. But those center me back again that again, I'm not alone. I've got a whole tribe that's cheering for me. I've got my faith that's giving me spirituality and strength. Um, I'm just so blessed.
And Lisa, this is therapy at its best, right? You're saying, I may not have control over certain things that are happening through this process, but through that, this is what I do have control of.
Yes.
Who I'm going to reach out to, as you said, for you, it would be praying or having conversations with St. Mary. It would be, how you're interacting with the kids, showing up to the gym. This is
Yeah.
what's in my control.
Well, and another thing that I've really had to learn along the way is asking for help. I'm not very good at that. My job as a healthcare worker, a healthcare provider, I take care of others. And I literally had a friend who called me and said, "We need to talk. And the reason we need to talk is I need you to just take care of yourself, first and foremost. And number two, I need you to learn how to ask for help. because
Mm.
we're all here. And just as you would like to help others, we want to help you. And so finding those friends that I could just say, is it possible for you to come over for just a moment to watch Loot with me? Because I love that show. Can you come watch Loot with me and laugh, Or can you take me to a doctor's appointment because my husband is busy? Can you just sit with me? Can you talk to me for just 4 minutes and reassure me? Though, even my gym wanted to do a meal train and it was like, no, no. And I'm like, no, that's how they'd like to show that they care. I
Yes.
would wanna do the same, and my husband needs the help. And so then it was like thinking through that and like, Lisa asked for help. Yes, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm so grateful that you're bringing that meal train. Thank you. So there's been a lot of learning along the way too.
I thank you for sharing that because I think that's actually a common theme I hear from so many people that it's difficult. I know myself included. It's difficult sometimes to ask for help, right?
Yes.
For many different reasons. But in this case, you're saying that is a teachable moment. Please take a step back, take the help. People are offering, right? Whether it's a phone call, a meal train, say, you know what, lean into it.
Right. Well, and what they were saying to me is, Lisa, you would do the same for anyone else in this situation. So
Very
just take this because
true.
we want to do this. We want to support you. Um, and we love you and I love them back. I mean, I honestly, this I have been so overwhelmed by the amount of love shown my way, James. I can't even. I get so teary about it because I am people are so good. And, we watch the news and we watch all this stuff, and there's still so much good out there. It's all around us. And maybe sometimes it's these difficult situations where we really get a chance to see it.
Unfortunately having to go through something like this, but you're reminding us through all of this stuff that's happening in the world that there is love, that there is kindness, that people are there and you're feeling it. And also feeling it is almost like, nurturing and watering what you're going through this process. I'm thinking of it as this flower, this very delicate thing, and it's helping you kind of grow and push yourself. Maybe a bad
Yes,
analogy, but what I'm saying is that love and kindness did something for you through this process that kind of allowed you to keep moving forward.
absolutely. And every time I'd go in for a follow-up appointment, even the physicians were like, I cannot believe how quickly you're healing. I cannot believe how quickly. And I said, I'm not surprised. I'm being so well taken care of. I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm just taking the time to heal, to get stronger on
I
so many different levels.
as I said to you earlier, we need to bottle this up. We need to bottle, and I'm making. I hope the viewers are making little notes too. Bottling it up. I'm hearing community. I'm hearing faith, religion, spirituality. I'm hearing self care. I'm hearing family. I'm hearing love, kindness. Right, being around people that are able to give that to you. I'm hearing a positive mindset. Right, what you're telling yourself, the concept of positive psychology. What can you say to people that are listening to continue with the idea of we're going to bottle this up and sell it? What has worked? And let's preface, everybody's story is different. Everybody's game plan and plan of attack looks different. But for Lisa, when you're getting feedback of you're doing so well, you're healing, you're looking great, you're amazing, what tips can you give to people along with some of those things we just said?
I honestly, at the end of the day, be grateful for every moment. Life is
Mm.
fleeting, it is precious. Enjoy it, engage in it, immerse yourself in what we have. This life is pretty incredible and it's worth fighting for. It really is. And it's worth fighting for on so many different levels, but because I think we add so much on so many different elements of this life, right? So as family, I want to. I've engaged my parents. I mean, I've always loved them, but to really be in the moment, to hold on to that hug, just hold on to that hug. My daughter, watching her study and just kind of watching her grow through her teenage years, to immerse yourself in that, and my son and his sports, and watching my husband kind of soften up through all of this too. This has been a changing moment for him, and appreciating what he gave up to help me and his encouragement. My friends, they're not really just friends. I have so much family now. My family has grown significantly. Be a be open to that, because I don't think
Mhm.
you realize how incredible people can be when you just let them in, and they add so much value to so many different lives. For a perfect example, my son's like, "Mom, who's your best friend?" I said, "Oh, buddy." I couldn't possibly, because I've got a friend that does this for me, and a friend that gives me this, and a friend that feeds me this, and they they complete me. I
Yeah.
couldn't have
You're
just
surrounded by love and by friendship
yeah.
and by kindness. Oh my gosh.
You just couldn't do that. So to be open to that, and to really, really enjoy those sweet pivotal moments, and find the little blessings, whatever blessings means to you, every day.
Lisa,
Find a blessing.
yeah, thank you for sharing all of this because what you're saying is this concept in therapy that I'm always talking about is mindfulness. This concept of being able to be grounded, living in the moment. And you're saying you have seen, felt, and you're still experiencing that. And here's the thing, through these difficult moments, right? It's not always easy to be in that moment, but
Mhm.
bringing yourself back to that as best as you can has helped you through this process.
Absolutely. Hands down. And those social cues like we talked, or the visual cues like we talked about, are, I think, indeed pivotal for that. Whether
Mhm.
it's a human or some innate object or a gift, it's everywhere. So, I my parents also gave me this necklace, and when I start to get a little anxious, I'll kinda hold it, and, so it's just wherever it is around you to, like you said so eloquently, James, is to keep you grounded, and ever so grateful for everything around you, um, and know I may have a bad moment today, and that's okay, and I can take the path of going down that bad moment and staying there, or I come back to center and go through that again. You've got this, we've got this.
Lisa, I love that because you're saying here's the reality. I'm going to have these moments. I'm going to grieve. I'm going to go
Yep.
through this process. But I also hear you saying the other side of that is this is temporary.
Yep.
As I have my mom's voice in my brain
Mhm.
saying, this too shall pass.
Yep.
Right. And not to simplify it, but the reality that I'm hearing you say is we are going to have these moments, but I have to ride the wave. I have to navigate through them and not get stuck in them.
Correct. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, and it's easy. It could be easy to get stuck, right? It's easy to get there, but again, that's where you rely on also, friends and family, like, "Hey, what's going on there? You're not acting like yourself. What's going on? Talk to me," and they keep me honest. Um, "You need to go for a run? You need to go for a run? Okay, go for a run." There's it's also engaging people to also, coach you a little bit along the way as well.
Lisa, I can't imagine. And again, I say you are love and light because that's what I'm feeling from talking to you and the emotions. The reality is, I know there's a dark side, right? And the dark side could be whether it's chemo, scheduling surgery, showing up for surgery, having to share the news. We're going to get into in a second, but being there for your children and
Yes,
what that can be emotional or heavy. And we're saying these dark moments that will show up,
yes,
taking that love and light, right? As I'm
yes.
referencing love and light, everything that these tools and tips and strategies we've been talking about, and extending it to that darkness to say, this is how I'm going to get through it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I just, I mean, I can't say it any better than what you've already done, or already said. I will tell you, if we want to go down that path, probably one of the most difficult parts of this whole process, outside of hearing the words cancer, was telling my children. Um, Again, I wish no parent or child to have to go through that. But one thing I wanted to ensure for my children is to make sure we had a plan, a very valuable, viable, doable, understandable plan. The one life lesson I have for this with the oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, please, how did you share this? Because I'm sure so many people are wondering, how do I break the news? What do I do? How do I say this?
So my husband and I had waited till we had a knew exactly the date, time, surgery, who's going to cover for us. So when mom's at surgery, who's going to be at the house? We had it laid out because we knew that they needed to have something that was structured.
Mhm.
So they knew that we had taken the time to think about this, and we were prepared as a family. So we did sit them down at the table, the dreaded kitchen table, but we talked about that mom, my husband started to actually start the conversation, and they immediately looked at me, and I said, "Guys, mom's okay, but she has breast cancer, but we got a plan." And so we quickly, told the whole plan out. My daughter immediately cried. Mom, why you? You're the nice one. You always help people. This isn't fair. And I said, unfortunately, cancer doesn't discriminate. You know, bad experiences don't discriminate anybody. And I said, but cancer picked the wrong girl. And you know that, and I know that. And she's like, yes, mom. And then my son was very quiet, very cheerful, but he's very sensitive. And so I'm like, buddy, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm okay. I'm okay. Here's my life lesson point that I failed as a parent. And I hope someone else takes this and can use it moving forward. And that is, I just assumed that they heard what I said.
Mhm.
And I didn't find out till a week later when my son was going through counseling that all he heard was that mom had cancer and she was dying.
Mm.
So for a week, my son was thinking that mom wasn't going to be around after 5 years. She was dying, uh, and that was it. So parents, please, when you tell your children anything, ask them to respond what they thought they heard is, and we do that now as a family moving forward
Yeah.
because for him, he shut down at cancer and he heard 5 years. He didn't hear that I was going to have surgery, remove all the cancer. I was going to be on medicine that could stop the cancer, and we were moving on with life. He didn't hear that part. So
Well, and Lisa, you did nothing wrong. Here's the reality, right? This goes back to what I can control and what I can't control. And the reality is you did a beautiful job of having a game plan, sitting down with your husband, discussing it with your kids. What you didn't know is kind of preconceived notions, what we're hearing, whether from TV or social media, what's
right,
stored in our brain, what's your own individual story, not to mention, these young undeveloped brains of how and what they're storing in there. So your idea was completely different than his. So I love what you're saying, the follow-up, right? The follow-up is what do you make of this or what are you hearing, right?
yes,
Reflecting back and making sure we have an understanding, right?
yes. And I have been very quick to share that story with every parent I know because, had he not had counseling, I don't know if I would have ever known he was thinking that.
Yeah.
And how tragic for that little mind to be so sad thinking just horrible things. So, um, that's true. It's not even of children. I think it's of everybody who cares about you, right?
That's it. Well, and because listen, people, especially adults, have different stories and experiences.
Yeah,
So my experiences with friends and family members that have had cancer may be different than your journey. So
yeah,
I want to tell a certain story, right? And the story that I may tell is completely different than where you are with it.
yeah,
So
right.
it's so important to be able to, I guess, have open communication and to be able to explain, this breakdown that could be happening in somebody's brain related to what their thoughts or views are with cancer.
Exactly. Well, not only that, just the whole treatment plan. When I came home and I had drains and I tried to warn him, but even at that, is just talking it through. Mom's okay. There's all of that, right? And we're going to go through it again. So it'll be another
Mhm.
conversation of, do you understand what we're going through and what the outcomes are going to be, and that we're all in this together.
That I think is probably one of the most powerful things, especially for children. We are all in this together. This is how our plan of attack will look,
Yeah.
right? The reality that we'll have ups and downs. But I'm going back to your Facebook post, and you mentioned this. Cancer picked the wrong girl. Cancer picked the wrong woman, the wrong person.
Yeah.
Having that in your brain almost fuels you to say, this is my plan of attack.
Absolutely. I mean, when I wasn't going to actually put it on social media, but unfortunately, so many people saw me coming in and out of doctor's offices here at my home base, and I didn't want people to be concerned that I got this. Don't worry. This thing has nothing on me. Nothing. I have a lot of memorabilia that people have sent to me that says very similar to what my post said, but maybe not so nice terms. And I love it. It makes me a little sassy. Um, and then I found humor in it too, James. Like I think that's another really big part of that. Like I was angry. I feel like I went through the stages of grieving almost, honestly, with this
Absolutely.
diagnosis. Um,
Absolutely.
so there was definitely, all of that. But then there's also the humor because I love to laugh. And the first shirt I wore into that I could wear without all my drains says, "Of course these are fake. My real ones tried to kill me." It's like I always try to find stuff like that to wear to be like, it is what it is. Ask me about it. I'm an open book.
Listen, I'm right there with you. Now, again, everyone's approach is different. Some people are serious and they may not like humor. For you, for myself, that humor not only diffuses the situation, but it can also, help kind of move us forward in some ways.
Yes, yes. I mean, we just have to laugh every once in a while, and it's you know, I don't know if it's fair for me to share what I told you about that. Once I have all of these surgeries, I feel dewomanized. I feel as though all my lady bits are being taken, and so um, it's you have to find humor in it. Otherwise, if you didn't laugh, sometimes you'd cry, and I'd rather have laugh lines than cry lines on my face, I guess.
Lisa, again, hearing you is not. I mean, my gosh, I'm almost losing my words. We're talking about cancer, but this extends beyond cancer. Your outlook on life, the way that you have these different mantras, the way that you have this light and positivity that just help move you forward.
Thank
It's
you.
so inspiring. It encourages me, it encourages everyone bigger than cancer to say this is just a great approach to life, mindfulness and grounded and community and taking care of yourself. And these are the things that have really kind of nourished your soul
Yes,
to help you get through this process.
absolutely. I don't think I would have changed my journey any other way. It's helped, really allowed me and those around me and my family grow. It's been a very positive experience. Even with a difficult diagnosis, it's been all positive. It really has. I I can't wait to take on the rest of my life, I'm just so ready to make the most of it and to take the next journey, right? So now next up is November 5th, and I did tell them, they wanted to do my surgeries a little bit closer, and I said, "I just need pause. I need to get mentally and physically strong again, then I'm all yours." And I really know it was those 2 things that got me through the last surgery.
Yeah.
Um, and so I am almost there.
Here and here's the reality. As I always say, keeping it real. Let's keep it real. You had and have a journey, right?
Yep.
As much as we are leading from light and positivity and an amazing mindset, let's not mistake. There's a journey here. There's surgeries that are scheduled. There's still medications that need to be had. There are conversations. There's a process to this, right?
Yes.
There, you are moving through this in an amazing and in a beautiful way and as best as you can. Let's not mistake that there's still things to look at. Again, we go back to then your approach, right? And I just point that out, Lisa, because I do not want to simplify what you have gone through and what you will continue to go through, but also highlight the way you are going through that process.
Thank you. It pleases me more if I go through this with grace. I just like I said, I really would like to support those who don't have this opportunity, and I don't want it to not be wasted, and it's one foot in front of the other, one day at a time.
As I say, baby steps,
Yep.
one foot,
Look ahead.
look
Mhm.
ahead, and here's the reality, no matter what your journey looks like, how to embrace the concept of grace and
Yes.
taking those steps as best as you can, one step at a time through the journey. Lisa,
And
that
next fall, I've got this goal. I'm like, I wanna run a half marathon by fall. That's like my goal. So I'm hoping I
big
can get a
goals.
group. Uh, I'll need that. It's like just dangling the carrot, right?
Yeah,
My
purpose through this as well, right? Purpose and
just
goals
sitting
and
there. I'm like, I got you. I got my eyes on you. Don't you worry. We'll
right.
get
No
there.
matter if it could be next week, it could be something that you're wanting to get to next month, or as you said, next fall.
Yep.
That
Little
also
carrot.
affects us. That also affects us as we go through this.
Absolutely. Yep.
Lisa, I cannot thank you enough, and your message is so powerful. Your journey is again, I'm losing words. I want to say inspiring. I want to say, motivating. I want to say, through the ups and downs, through the emotions, to hear how you're handling this. I hope that other people can listen to the story because it definitely affects us on so many levels.
Well, I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you just asking me about my story. I have to be honest with you. It's hard for me to hear you sell these really nice things because this is just who I am. And but if I can help anybody, please, I've been in your shoes, so I'm here. Should I help if I can help in any way? And thank you for being so incredible.
You are amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate it. I wish you nothing but the best as you continue the journey. And
Thank
as
you.
you know, I'm always here.
Thank you, James. Thank you so much.